and welcome everyone to our 2026 trip planning and preparation webinar. It's webinar more of a Q&A, I guess. We actually do have a series of webinars on topics such as the Camino de Santiago, walking and cycling tours in Europe, how they all work, alpine hiking, Mont Blanc. So, and if you ever want another webinar, you can just reach out and request us to, and we'll be happy to put one together. But today we're doing something a bit different. We're doing a Q&A session, and ask UTracks anything. It is the early bird sale on at the moment, and I think people have lots of questions when they're trying to plan for their trips. So we've got myself and Matthew here, going to be here and happy to answer your questions. So what we're going to do, just going to have our top 10 traveler FAQs for the first half of it, and then in the second half of the Q&A of the webinar, we'll have the opportunity for you to ask your own questions. So at the bottom of your screen, there's a little Q&A box. So if you've got your questions, just write them in there, and in the second half of the webinar, we'll address those. Yeah, cool. We're also recording this session, so if you need to step out at any time, don't worry too much because we'll send you the replay afterwards. Yeah. Okay, so to get started, Matthew, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Matthew, as Will has said. I have worked at UTracks for 2 years now. I'll be 3 years in July. Originally from Ireland, but living in Canada for the last 8 years. So very lucky to be here. And since my time has started in UTracks, as you can see from these photos, just some of the amazing hikes that we've got to do. The ones you're seeing here are from the Swiss Alps and the French Pyrenees. So I'm a massive into alpine hiking, definitely my favorite kind of adventure travel to do. So happy to answer all your questions on those. And yeah, that's just a brief intro to me,
Yep. Any
an area
hikes
that
in
I have.
Ireland that you've done?
Yes, so I have gone back home recently, and since my passion for hiking has grown, I like to challenge myself. So doing
Yeah.
Carrick Two which is the largest mountain back home, and making sure I can tick that off the list.
Wow, fantastic. You're probably hearing a couple of different accents today, but I'm Will. I'm based in Sydney, Australia. I'm the marketing manager here. UTracks has offices around the world, so we've got offices in New Zealand, in the UK, in Canada, and in Australia. So quite a global active travel company. But here you can see these photos from my own UTracks trips. I've got Mont Blanc on the left, Croatia bike and boat with my wife, which we did last year, and then the full Camino France's. So all three, hands down, spectacular trips. So can definitely talk to those if anyone's got any questions. Okay, so let's get into our first question, that one of our most commonly asked ones. So over to you, Matthew. Can you just explain how a self-guided trip works?
Yeah, so basically a day to day on one of our self-guided trips, even though it's self-guided, you're still very well supported. We have a lot of things to help you get through each of them while still being self-sufficient. Your typical day is going to start off with waking up in the accommodation that we have booked for you, packing your bag for the day and your day pack, and heading down for breakfast. Also around that time, you will bring down your luggage for the luggage transfer service. Usually you just leave it at the reception. They tell you where to leave it, and it gets picked up and brought to your next accommodation. Then you just start off on your day hiking with the maps we've provided. And yeah, then you're just on your way. You have your maps, you make your way to your next accommodation where your luggage will be waiting for you. And if we have dinner booked for you in that hotel, the hotel will go through that with you. If not, it's usually because you're free to explore the town and there's lots of options. So you get to kind of make your own choice in where you spend your evening.
Yeah, it's really is logistics are all handled, and it's very light way of traveling. So yeah, the luggage. I think for me, the best part is when the luggage magically appears in your hotel at the end of your day, and you don't have to stress about finding a nice accommodation or anything like that. So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, light packing, just your water bottle, a few snacks, and then they take care of everything else for you.
easy. Okay. Good question here. Matthew, can we build in rest days or extra nights into our itineraries?
Yes, absolutely. We can do it on all of our itineraries, and we highly recommend doing it The most common reasons for doing it are there's a town along the way that you want to stop in that you've heard about and you'd like to have an extra day there. We're happy to do that for you. Another reason people will do it is just to split up the hiking days. A lot of our itineraries are 8 days long. After 4 days of hiking back to back, sometimes it's just nice to take a rest before you have to do it again. So we're happy to add one in to around the halfway point for you as well. And then, yeah, so recovery, if you have a long day ahead of you, so some days it's unavoidable. Your day five might be twice as long as some of your other days. So again, sometimes just nice to take a break, recuperate, and get ready for the big one.
Yeah, and it's not even just about like resting and recovery. Sometimes, like say if you're doing on the Camino, you're passing through so many historic, ancient, amazing towns that you kind of want to stop and explore. So to kind of break up, sometimes it is a lot of like day in, day out of walking. So
Yeah.
and we can speak to all the different trips. We can speak to all the different trips and basically. I think Matthew and the team will be able to tell you that, oh yeah, this is where the travelers most commonly stay
Yeah,
and spend some extra
absolutely.
time.
Along our
Yeah,
Camino routes or along any of them, Bayona, there's a lot of towns. We're happy to take a call, answer questions on where we suggest you stay as well. We're happy to tell you where, especially when we've been to the places where we would recommend that you take a rest day to really take it all in.
yeah. Common question. What kind of accommodations are included in our trips?
Yeah, so for our accommodations, it obviously depends on the itinerary that you're choosing. But let's say for our Camino trips, we kind of like to go for more authentic accommodations, B&Bs, small guest houses, family-run areas, so that you can get those meals as well, all the food, the culture of being a part of the local community. And then you have our dormitory style accommodations like mountain huts, which
Yeah,
are for more remote or alpine hikes. Yeah, they're on the right, you can see them. And so that's when you're doing Mont Blanc, like we said earlier, or the Dolomites.
yeah,
And yeah, so those are the accommodations that we would usually go for.
yes. So this far right picture is from the Alps, and these ones are from the Camino. So quite nice accommodation. Something that also gets can be a bit confusing for non-Europeans is the star rating system. Um,
Mm.
and basically 2 stars in Europe. Uh, what can you explain better, Matthew?
Yeah, so where we are, especially in North America, I think it is more noticeable the difference. The standard of accommodations in these places isn't going to be the same as what you get over here. A 2 star isn't the same as a 2 star over here. I would say they're actually nicer in these small towns. Like I said, they're small guest houses, family owned.
Yeah,
So like 2 star, it also just means that they might not have like a swimming pool, which might be required for a star, but they're still amazingly beautiful. The food is better, in my opinion, than what you'll get over here. So the
yeah,
star ratings can be a bit misleading for people, definitely.
yeah. Yeah, so it's like a 3 star accommodation might have that swimming pool, but it might be off the trail and like a bit more of a sterile environment, whereas a 2 star one might be on the trail, really lovely hosts that welcome you in. And so
Hmm.
we're definitely gonna choose that one there. That's the place that we would rather stay at. So yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Uh, can I upgrade my accommodation?
Yes, this is definitely an option on the majority of our itineraries. I believe these pictures they're lovely photos are from the Camino as well. So you can upgrade to Paradors along the Camino. So we have some in Bayona and then at the end in Santiago de Compostela. And they're pretty much these beautiful old buildings. They're luxury accommodations, very popular for people to upgrade to. It's a nice little treat, especially the one in Santiago de Compostela, to treat yourself to an extra night or two in one of these paradors. And then sometimes along other itineraries like the Danube, our standard accommodations will be 3 stars, but we'll have a package that you can upgrade to a 4 star hotel if that's what you're looking for as well. Um, on our alpine hikes, you have the option usually just to upgrade to a private room. We offer dorms as standard, so if you wanted that little bit of privacy at the end of the night, we usually have a double room available for at least some of the nights, if not all of them.
Hmm.
And then if it's not something that we have noted on the website, you can always reach out to us as well. about an itinerary and ask if we have any upgrade options, and
Yeah.
we'll look into it and get back to you.
Yeah, you can work your magic. Yeah. Yes,
Yes.
the yeah, upgrading on the hiking trails sometimes is not possible because you are in these remote, rugged environments
Mhm.
that all that's there is what's there. So there's not a huge range of options, but it's a lot of fun staying in the dorms and things like that. So
Yeah.
yeah. Don't the Paradors look amazing though? That's definitely something to perhaps add into your Camino experience. The Parador is like a really historic old Spanish building, so yeah, it's a very unique experience to add to your Camino. How do I stay en route during my self-guided trip?
Yes. So with the way the world is going these days, the majority of maps that we offer for our routes now are digital. So it'll all be on your phone, the same way something like Google Maps would work. This can be done a few different ways. One of them is that we'll provide you with the GPX files, and you'll then put them onto your phone on one of the apps that we'll have suggested that you can use for it. We'll send you a document on which apps will accept them, depending on what phone you're using, and a little run through on how to use it. We usually send those to you a bit before your departure too, so you have some time to get used to it, have a read through, make sure everything is working fine. And then on some of our routes at the moment, we've made it even simpler. So we'll basically tell you the app to download and we'll give you login information and it will be catered to your route. So you don't need to upload anything, it's all done for you. And then once you're over there, you just hit start and your map is ready to go.
Yeah, these are really game-changing apps as well. If you walk, say, if you're walking off route for about 30 meters or so, you
Mhm.
get start getting a little ding, 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 and it's like, oh, you're off course. So it puts you back on track.
Yes. Definitely
Really
happened to me
helpful.
a few times on my most recent trip. You don't realize it sometimes. You're just taking in the scenery and you're walking and the trail looks like it goes one way and then yeah, you just get a little ding to be like, you've gone off, you should turn around. You take your phone off and take your phone out, sorry, and yeah, it's funny to see that you have gone off.
Yes, yes. And another thing to these apps can use a battery fast, so definitely a good idea to bring a portable battery charger. Just as a general rule, anyway, isn't it, Matthew? Like when
Yeah.
you're traveling in Europe.
I brought mine this time and it was a lifesaver, especially if you're staying in more remote areas. People are fighting over those plug sockets. So if you have your own one, then you're beating the crowds already.
Yeah, too easy. And just the last thing about the app is that they do work offline as well. So essentially, all of your map data just gets downloaded before the tour starts, and so you're not using any of you're not chewing through your data while you're
Uh,
over there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's also if you're doing the Camino or something like that, you obviously have the Camino arrows and the seashells, which were there to help you too. So
Yes. Yes.
between all of that, you'll be pretty set to stay on track.
Yeah. What are my options as a solo traveler?
Yeah, solo traveling is something that I love doing and recommend doing it. Everyone should do it at some stage of their lives. And it's a lot of our itineraries will cater to a solo traveler, and it's not a problem. We'll book you a single room on the majority of our tours, so you don't have to be worried about being paired up with anyone if that's not what you're looking for. And you got, for example, on our Camino, you'll always have your private room with an ensuite. Like I said, we don't match people up on our self-guided ones, but if you are traveling solo and doing one of, let's say, our guided Camino trips, and you'd rather try and avoid having to pay that little bit extra for the single room, we'll work our best to find someone else in that group who is willing to share as well. But again, that's up to each individual.
Hmm.
And on our bike and boats, we'll always have some cabins available for single use as well. Although they are limited, they don't want the whole boat, unfortunately, full of single travelers. So there's usually a set amount. So booking early for those, if you're traveling solo, is just guarantees you your spot on it. And then again, with the alpine hikes, it's a great way to do solo travel. And like we said earlier, you're usually staying in a dormitory, so you actually usually don't have to pay a supplement for it because you're staying in a dorm anyway. There is some exceptions to that, but in general, an alpine hike is a great way to travel solo as well.
Yeah, we actually on our website under each heading there's of the walking and cycling trips you can find there are solo traveler pages with all of the different solo traveler options. So definitely take a look there. If you're struggling to find that page, reach out. We can send you the link for those trips. But good thing you mentioned about the supplements because it can be a bit tricky. So I might just
Mm.
run through this and explain this because it can be a bit tricky for people, and I want to make it clear. So with the single supplement, this relates to when multiple travelers are on a trip together and they want individual rooms. So, for instance, say Tom, Mary, and Jane are walking in the Cotswolds in England. How lovely. Tom and Mary are sharing a room, and Jane needs her own room. So, in this case, Jane will need to pay a single supplement, which is basically the cost for her own room. Whereas the solo traveler supplement applies for solo travelers. This is because our self-guided trips are priced based on twin share accommodation. So, for instance, is if Tom is walking in the Cotswolds by himself, still lovely, he'll need his own room plus his own luggage transfers. So, there's a few more services there that are being applied just to one person, so he has to kind of take that on by himself. So, yeah, if you do have any other questions about the solo travel, just reach out to Matthew. I know they are definitely becoming a lot more popular as people take the plunge and do Europe trips by themselves, which, as Matthew says, I completely agree with. It is a kind of a scary thing stepping out to do a solo trip, but
Yeah.
you feel so good afterwards, don't you? Enjoying
Afterwards,
it.
it's so rewarding.
Yeah, cool. Matthew, can you please take us through the trip gradings?
Yes. So the trip gradings with UTracks, we use a pretty standard scale of 1 to 5, 1 being introductory and 5 being our most challenging. Things we take into consideration here is the daily distances, the elevation gain, how many days you're going to be doing. So, for example, a Camino that's 40 days long is, even though it might not have the longest days, obviously that's just going to make the grading a little bit higher. An example of a 1 introductory would be our Amsterdam to Bruges bike and barge, which is introductory. It goes pretty standard distances per day and it's pretty flat terrain. And then on the other end, we have our 5 out of fives, which is our challenging ones, which could be something like the UK coast to coast, or many of our alpine hikes are 4 or 5s as well, just depending on the difficulty of them. And then for biking, obviously we have the option for e-bikes. So if you're a little bit worried about 1 or 2 of the days, they might be a little bit steeper than the others, you can always get an e-bike for the duration of the trip. And that obviously helps out so much. With those steep hills. So like another bike and boat we do in Croatia, which I think Will can speak about because I remember he told me after he did it, and some of the hills there are pretty intense, and an e-bike is a
It definitely helps. Yes, an e-bike was a lifesaver. I was on a hybrid standard bike, and my wife was on an e-bike, and she was zooming along, having a great time, whereas I was sweating profusely. So, um, yes, and definitely, if you're ever concerned about if you're going to be fit enough to enjoy the trip, reach out and talk to one of our team because they'll be able to tell you how achievable is the trip you've chosen is, and maybe suggest something else. Um, because yeah, it's not supposed to be a marathon superhuman effort. It's more of a you want to enjoy yourself, don't you? So
yeah,
yeah,
got to find one which suits you.
exactly. The fitter you are, the more fun you have on your trip. Uh,
Exactly.
so how many people are on our guided trips?
Yeah, so we do have a lot of different guided options for something for everyone, I would say. So some of our most popular ones are definitely our guided Camino options. And for those ones that we run, we like to keep them small. So we're looking at like 8 to 14 people per group on our guided Camino trips. Really gives you a chance to, interact with your guide and you're not just one of many people. It's very social, always very positive feedback in relation to the group size and how it helped the kind of cohesiveness of the group. Then we have our other tours, which are a little bit bigger, like our bike and barges. Obviously, these barges can fit 30 to 50 people, depending on the itinerary that you choose. But 50 people for our bike and barges, I would say, is a solid average for it. So 25-ish cabins. And then we have some much larger options. So we have our bike and boats on the Danube. Even though those are self-guided, and there is sometimes the option to add the guided option to it. And those boats are 150 to 200 people maybe. Um, but that's on the Danube. Some beautiful boats, but definitely have like a larger group number.
Yeah.
And then our guided alpine hikes, I think, are the last ones, and that would be very similar to our Camino. So we're looking at 8 to 14 people. So again, lots of time with your guide and lots of time to learn about the local area.
Yeah. And the best thing about these trips is that they're all like-minded travelers. So,
Mm.
regardless of age or where they're from, like, everyone's there because they like to be active while they're traveling. For instance, on
Yeah.
my Croatia bike and sail trip, there was lots of various ages, but it really is at the end of the day to come all back together and to share a meal and to be able to talk. And I think people left being friends for life. We still have a WhatsApp group that we chat in and share photos. So yeah, it really is it creates a nice sense of community on these trips.
Yeah, definitely got feedback from them. Like people saying that it was like the guided groups were incredible, that they've made, for, like you said, friends for life. Like they'll usually have a WhatsApp group, and yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that they continue keeping in touch after it all. Like you said, like-minded people doing
Mm,
like-minded things.
exactly. Okay, and good question. What's the process of booking a trip?
Yeah, so we take all of our bookings online, and you basically fill out your booking form with all the information that we need. You pay your deposit at the end of it, and then it's me who usually reaches out to you originally, and that's when we can go over any questions or any extras that you've asked for. So earlier on, like we were saying with upgrades or extra nights or anything like that, I'll get back to you just to go over those finer details. Once we've hashed everything out, we get that on request, send out the request to all the accommodations, the luggage transfer services, and then we'll keep you posted on our progress for that. Usually about a week or so. Is our goal to at least get you your first update or confirmation of it. Sometimes sooner, sometimes a little bit longer, depending on if you're traveling, obviously during like peak season. And then, yeah, so like I said, usually about a week, we're back to you, and then we'll let you know everything's confirmed. Next steps will usually be for your final payment and everything like that. And then that will be followed by your final documents, which will be sent about 3 weeks before you leave.
Too easy. Uh, and good question. How far in advance do I need to book?
I think I actually get this question quite regularly on the phone, and I feel like my answer most people are expecting when I say as early as possible. We have our 2026 dates ready to go. If you know what date you want to go, you should probably book as soon as possible. Especially if you're considering May or September, for example. They've been our busiest months by far for the past few years. Also dependent on where you want to go. I literally had one today who booked for September next year, so 11 months in advance for the West Highland Way, but it's already booking up, the accommodations. So I think you should just book as soon as you have your dates.
Yes. What are the hotspots right now? Isn't it like the Mont Blanc self-guided hikes, the Danube bike and barge trips,
Yeah,
Dolomites, all in high
they're
demand?
all the ones that go first. Camino, Sarria to Santiago. Although that's actually pretty okay, but it's busy, but we can still usually get those through. But yeah, definitely self-guided Mont Blanc. We always have to close those early. Unfortunately, like we said earlier, there's only a certain amount of mountain huts. There's no alternative accommodation sometimes. So once they're gone, and people
Yeah.
don't cancel, unfortunately. There's no
Yes.
wait
Yeah.
list.
Yes. And some of the barge trips as well, like the Scotland coast to coast barge, only seats 16 people. So you can
Yeah,
just see why these, once they're full, they're full. Um,
exactly.
Anyway, and also it is the early bird sale, so now is a great time to be booking to get a bit of a saving there. Um, Great, thanks, Matthew. So we're going to pass it over to you guys if you've got any questions. Just in the bottom of the screen, you'll see a little Q&A box. Just pop your questions in there, and we'll be happy to answer them. I've got some questions already. So we've got Karen, she's asking about does UTracks have a TICO number, which I'm
We do
unfamiliar
have it.
with.
Oh, it's because we're in Ontario. So
Okay.
our office is in Ontario in Canada, and TICO is what you need to have a travel company here, whether you're a travel agent, a sales consultant, or a tour operator. And yes, we do have a TICO number.
Yes, yeah. UTracks has been in the active travel business for about 20 years, so and counting. So yeah, that's a good one. And can you explain a bit more about the accommodations on the barge trips?
Yeah, so again, it can vary. It's a great question, though. I didn't go through it earlier in relation to upgrades too. Our base cost will usually include, let's say, a lower twin deck cabin. So you'll have a window, you'll have a private ensuite as well. and then either a twin room or a single room, depending on what you're looking for. But there is the option to upgrade. So you can get upper deck cabins with French balconies, upper deck cabins with balconies. Like I said, some of these boats are hotels on water. They're so beautiful. Um, so the accommodation, it's up to you. Like I said, we do have standard cabins, but the option to upgrade is always there as well. Most of
Hmm.
them will have, yeah, AC, en suites, just like a standard hotel room.
Yeah, perfect. Interesting question here from Wendy. She's asking, is there an age that's too old for these trips?
Absolutely not. Um, I would say our demographic for UTracks, I'd say, is a little bit older anyway. And I love saying that to people. People will often call and ask, or they'll be a little bit worried about their age, and I love just telling them not to even worry about it. That if they've been training and this is what they want to do, I'm happy to get them on that tour, and they always come back having a great time.
Definitely. It's young at heart, I think. That's definitely goes to it. But I think lots of people that travel to Europe for the first time, they go as a young person, they might see all the different cities and things. But I think when you come back a few more times and you start experiencing it as an active traveler, that's when you really get to walking between the different villages, and that's really
Absolutely.
when you become immersed in these places. So
You see all
yeah,
those hidden gems that you might not have saw when you were younger, and just sticking to the cities. It's incredible, yeah, when you go back.
exactly. Uh, Now Tom's asking, is there any particular gear that is a must bring?
So, yes, absolutely. There's a whole list, but personally, this year I was converted to using hiking poles, and I'm very late to the game on that. But I will say, if you are also like me and you for some reason thought that you could do them without them, which you possibly still can, still bring them. They were an absolute game changer for me this year, and definitely helped me.
Yeah.
Uh, Layers would be the next thing. Like I said, I just got back from our Pyrenees circuit hike, and it was so exposed. There was so little tree cover. Some days it was hot, some days it was raining, some days it was windy. So just making sure you have all that ready to go, and so you can take it off or put it on as needed, because the weather in these places can change quite quickly.
Yes. And whatever you do, make sure you break your shoes and
Mm.
your outfit in. Like, don't go to the shops and buy something and then get on the plane and do your tour the very
Yeah,
next day. Make sure you've worn it in, tried everything, make sure it all fits. That's my advice there.
yeah, definitely. You
Um,
get very excited sometimes when you're going on a trip to buy all your new stuff, and then
yeah.
forget that, yeah, you should probably try it, wear it for a bit just to break it in.
Bit of an open question here, Matt. But when's the best time to be going to Europe to travel?
Yeah, definitely an open question. But the feedback I get, and in my opinion, September has become, like I said, super popular to travel, mostly because I think kids are back in school, so people think it will be a little bit quieter. And then also the weather is getting that little bit cooler. As I'm sure we've all seen, Europe's weather is extremely hot in the summer. So people try to avoid that, especially if you're doing active holidays. Some people love it. Personally, I am one of the people who don't love it. I don't love hiking in 30-degree weather. Um, so September definitely has that cooler weather. And I personally also love really traveling in the winter. Winter hikes are something that I really enjoy, or getting a bit of winter sun as well.
Yes, it does depend trip by trip though. So if you are, as with everything, if you've got any questions, just reach out to the team and we'll give you what the most common responses are. So yeah. Last couple of questions there. Just a reminder, if you've got any questions of your own, just drop them in the bottom. But maybe putting you on the spot here, Matt. But do you have any? What's your expert advice in terms of what's something that to bring that you might not think to bring on the trip,
Oh,
apart from
I
hiking
feel
poles?
yeah, hiking poles. I feel like you said it earlier with the battery pack. I feel like that was also a lifesaver earlier. I would say also it's quite easy to get eSIMs these days.
Mm,
I think that's quite important, especially if you are going to be somewhere a little bit more remote. You want to keep in touch with people. Your family might want to keep in touch with you. And they're pretty cost effective these days, I'm pretty sure. And like I said, when I was in France recently, I didn't get one, and it is something that I wish I had very much brought.
definitely. You definitely like in this day and age, you need to be able to send photos back to your family, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's go on Facebook, make everyone jealous, as well as other things as well. Um, my important thing to bring that you probably won't think about is a little Tupperware container, because
Mm.
while you're walking along or cycling along, you might stop at a farmer's market and pick up a punnet of raspberries, or you might eat a baguette for lunch and only finish half. So a Tupperware containers, you're going to be able to put it in that, keep it in your bag, and it's not going to get soggy and it's not going to go through your bag. So yeah, it's my little travel tip there for you. We just got a question about when's the best time of year to travel to Tuscany in particular.
Oh, Tuscany. I would say May or June. You're just coming into, it's still before busy season, so all the accommodations and everything and all the services have opened, but it's not overcrowded yet. The
Mm,
weather is getting that little bit hotter, but again, it's still not too bad. Um, but yeah, definitely I would say May or June for Tuscany.
yeah, yeah. Beautiful. And that's spring, right, as well. So all the flowers are kind of starting to bloom and all of that
Yeah.
jazz. So yeah, magical. Um, okay. And then just to wrap up, got to ask you, Matthew, where this is my question. Where do you want to travel next? What's on the top of your travel list?
Oh, so Mont Blanc is definitely up there. But if I was to venture away from Europe, it would be South America. It's unfortunately somewhere that I haven't done. I would love to go to Patagonia. But in Europe, definitely Mont Blanc and the Dolomites are next on my list.
You love the hiking.
I do.
And and just to uh, as an aside, August, so UTracks is part of the World Expeditions Travel Group. And so if you haven't heard of World Expeditions, it's a celebrated their 50th anniversary this year. But they do offer tours through around the world, as the name suggests, and they do go to Patagonia. So yeah, if you're interested in going outside of Europe, definitely give World Expeditions a look in. The top of my travel list, I've not been to Iceland yet, but I can tell you, as working in marketing, all of the photos from Iceland just look out of this world. So that's
Yeah,
definitely somewhere that I want to go and just marvel at everything. So the lunar
definitely.
landscapes.
And I don't want to be
Yeah.
biased, but I actually went back to Ireland last year with a friend who had never been before. And obviously, when you're from a country, I feel like you don't explore it. But when I went with this friend, they wanted to do a lot of the Cliffs of Moher and everything, and like the Ring of Kerry.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it was so beautiful.
Yes.
Places in
Yes.
my own country that I hadn't seen. So we all have some tours in Ireland as well, and I would be more than happy to send you all over there.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. That's it. We've got another question here that's just come in. Where do I fly into to get to Passau?
The most common place to fly into would be Munich. If you're going to Passau, depending on which itinerary you're talking about, which I think we have it on the majority of them, we can actually look at getting you a transfer from Munich airport as well. If you want to do it on your own, that's fine too, but always nice when you know that it's been organized for you.
Yeah. Lots of the bike and barge tours start in Passau, which is just
Exactly.
in Germany, but it's on the cusp of Austria. So
Yeah.
yeah, they're all heading.
Yeah. Those Danube
Yeah.
tours that start in Passau as well, it's a great way to see a few countries. Like our Danube Explorer to Budapest obviously goes through, I think it's 4 countries in total.
Slovakia,
Um,
Hungary, Austria, Germany. Four.
Germany. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to see multiple countries in one go as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think that wraps up all the questions from everyone. So, as everyone will hopefully know, that now is the early bird sale, so you can save on all of our 2026 trips. So it is the best time. We have just extended the sale too, so it is going to be closing on Monday the 20th. So we've got 2 more weekends for you to get your friends and family, or just yourself, all your ducks in a row to plan your trip. If you want to keep hearing Matthew's Irish voice in your head, you can give him a call. I think I didn't put your number there, Matthew, but maybe in the email I'll send out with the replay, I'll pop it in there. But yeah, Matthew's email address there is there, matthew@utracks.com. Besides that, thank you so much, Matthew, and thanks to everyone for being here and asking your questions. And hopefully we see you out on the trails in Europe.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Great talking.